50 right there. You changed the game.
Whoa! Maybe he just needs time to readjust the list. Hey, maybe he just needs some time to readjust it, bro. Like he just hasn't looked at the scope, the full scope of everything. No way, bro. No way.
With high school,
no
kids
way.
coming out of high school. Let me see who else. Let me see who else. Who else is an NBA great? I gotta put Steph in the legend category. Change the game with the NBA with shooting. Could go down.
Roy is a content creator, chat. He knows what gets the people going, chat. Steph over Tim? Steph over Tim? Let him cook. Let him cook.
Is arguably one of the better point guards in the NBA, on the ball and off the ball as well. Will gotta go up here too. There's a lot of Lakers up here. A lot of Lakers. This is tough. All right, let's keep going. I'm putting AI as a great right here. Boom, one of George.
No, this is crazy.
Georgetown's finest. All right, we're gonna keep filling this out right here. Another one of Georgetown's finest. These two did not win a.
Okay.
No, top 50. These are great.
What? No way, chat. No way. Yeah, it's shit. Hey. It's his list, man. I just be having these conversations too much. And I'm just saying, if I made this list, I would be getting baked. Baked like crazy. You don't know ball. You don't know shit, B-Souls.
Georgetown's finest right there. Definitely want to show
he
love
is the
to
Georgetown
them.
guy.
List.
So I don't blame him.
Some of these players like Harden and KD and these guys are still playing, so their story is ongoing. I'm gonna put Dirk in the top 50 right there. He got a championship. He changed the game with that one-legged, free throw line fadeaway jump shot right there. My man Pippen right here. My auntie. My auntie Mava in Canada used to love Scottie Pippen back in the day. She always wanted me to wear 33 as my number.
Scottie over KG and Dirk.
I was more of a 55 guy. This is Pistol Pete. I'm gonna put him in the. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm gonna pick top 50 right there.
There you
go.
I
love Dominique. Man, I love you, Dominique. There you go. Charles Barkley. Where am I putting Charles on here? My top. Where does Chuck go? Am I wrong for this? I love you, Chuck. I wish I could be top 75. Isaiah gotta be a great. He's a great man. He's a great. I also paid Bill Walton to come work with me too. So great player. Wish he wasn't always injured, but I'm gonna put him in the top 75 list right there. These lines are in no particular order whatsoever. Where's Bob Cousy? I don't want to disrespect Bob Cousy. Let's find a key, man. Let's get another big on the board. Let's get another big on the board. There we go, Akeem, man. That man was putting in work.
All right. We're chat predictions on where he's gonna put Hakeem. I think he's going to put Hakeem as a great, man. He's going to put Hakeem as a great, and that's going to piss a lot of y'all off, the fact that he's not in this tier.
That man was putting in work. Hakeem.
What? No, I ain't going to lie, man. Yo, Roy, you gotta move up 10, man. You got to move up 10, man. No way, bruh. No way. Timothy Duncan is a legend. No way, bro.
Dream. Let me see. Where am I gonna put my man Ray Allen, man? I actually went and did a USO tour in Hawaii with Ray Allen. Real good dude, man. And Kevin Ali. But Ray Allen, he's a great. He's a great. Won championships in Miami. And with the Celtics, man,
great
he's
video.
Probably still in shape. He could probably still come back and play too. Man, Paul Pierce was my favorite player growing up. Back when I was in high school, I used to have his NBA Nike Swingman jersey. I couldn't afford the authentic jerseys that were like $250 or something like that.
Nah. I ain't gonna lie. If he puts Paul Pierce where he could put Paul Pierce, nah, that's crazy.
I had his
Nah, that's crazy.
jersey.
Hold on.
Him,
Hold
Tony
on,
Delk.
chat. Let him cook, chat.
Who
Let
else
him
did they
cook.
have on that team? I think they had a young Joe Johnson. Man, he was my favorite though, man. Then like I came to the league, and then you meet your idols, and sometimes it just doesn't go the right way, man. But he's up there in my book, and I think he is. He's in the right there though. Great
What
player.
is Ray Allen?
Indiana,
Nah.
don't hate me, Indiana. Don't hate me.
No.
Please, the top 75.
Not
He
Indy.
didn't win any
No,
chips,
that's
though.
crazy.
Maybe, I don't know if this is like recency bias, but like, you know, why all the players I grew up really watching is up here. But all right, we're going to keep going. We're going to Dr. J. Oh, man, they going to hate me for that one. CP3. Great player, man. I love you, bro.
Nah.
His story's still ongoing, though. He has a chance to win a chip if the Golden State Warriors can turn it around. I mean, the things that Giannis is doing now is just like unbelievable. So he's gonna, when it's all said and done, he's gonna be a great. I might have to come back with Giannis. He may go up there because he could, you know. GP, are you with me?
50. That's 50.
Won a lot of championships. I'll put D-Wade. Like, he won a couple chips, man. He won a couple chips. He's gonna be a top.
Nah, Roy Hibbert's a ring merchant, chat.
He's a legend. I mean, top 50. Can't be throwing that.
Roy
word around
Hibbert's a
like,
ring merchant.
I'll put Dennis. What am I gonna do with these two? Man, scoring champ, man. Scoring champ. Great player. Some winning chip.
Uh-oh, Mello.
What we got next? David Robinson. What am I gonna do with you, David? What am I gonna do with you, David? Admiral, what am I gonna do with you? You going right up there. Right there. I truly do think this, because when it's all said and done, with his chips and scoring, KD from the DMV is going to be a legend.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. The list literally would not be bad if Tim Duncan was just also a legend. That's it. That's it, bro. That's it. I'm deadass. I'm not even mad at KD being there. It's just the fact that Tim Duncan is not a legend as well. That's the crazy part.
He's gonna be up there. AD.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not too mad at AD. I'm not too mad at KD being in that tier.
Yeah, he's a great player. The older players are getting me. Cause I used to do the Mike and hook shots. Let's get George and Mike and let's get George and Mike on the board. All right. Put him right there.
Yeah.
Karl Malone. Pick and roll, chop you up type of dude right there. Mailman, there you go. I don't want no problems with you, man. You're big and strong. Kawhi Leonard, winning 2 championships with, 2 different teams, 2 different organizations. You know how tough that is. LeBron has done it, but it is tough, though, to win one with San Antonio and then go win one right away with the Toronto Raptors. So, when healthy, I think that he's going to end up being, he's going to be right here. James Harden, putting him right here. Clyde, where's Clyde going to go?
Harden outside top 50 is nuts. That's crazy.
Clyde gonna go right here.
I did not edit
Let's
this
get the
video,
people
bro.
that I know for show. Jason Kidd, he was moving that ball back in the day. Right
Top 50.
Bill Russell, we got to get Bill Russell, man. That man was dominating left and right. He's a legend. He's going right up there. Championships. I think he was like one of 3 people to win an NCAA championship and then get drafted and then win an NBA championship like the first year as a rookie and then win like the Olympics that year. So that's like starting off his professional career the right way. We'll talk about Russ. Russ was throwing up triple doubles back in the day. He could still probably do that now. So boom, he's gonna go right there.
I like that.
Iceman Gervin. What's Iceman Gervin? Well, what's his stats? Want to be respectful. All right, we got to put some respect on Iceman and Gervin's name right there.
Top 50. Actually, it might be outside 75.
Right there. Stockton and Malone.
Great.
Boom. Yeah, man, he's so good though, man. His story's not written though, man. He could still win 3-4 chips with Giannis right there. I'm gonna put Damian Lillard top 75 right there, man. All right, now I'm getting to the point where there's a lot of older players I don't remember as well. Right there. Chips. I put Steve Nash right here.
Okay.
Jerry West. Put him right here. Robert Parrish.
Too low on Jerry West.
He was winning chips with. He was winning chips. No, dog.
No.
Shays.
No, bruh.
Sorry, brother. I don't even know, dude. And Dave Bing, put you in 75, brother. Elgin Baylor was putting in work. Elgin Baylor was putting in work. I'm gonna put him over here. Bob McAdoo, put you right there. His son played in the NBA. Put him up there. Man, we're gonna have to move some guys over here. Hal Greer. Look up Hal Greer's stats. We're gonna put Hal Greer. We're gonna put
I feel it, man. I feel it. I feel it.
Man, there's some people I don't know on here. Don't know my NBA. Like maybe I should. Sorry.
No, I feel that, man. I feel that.
Shies. Yeah.
Dolph Shies.
Man, that would have been really nice. I mean, like, I love to be in the top 75. You know what I'm saying? But it's not in the cards for everybody.
Yeah, man.
I went to Sam Jones.
You don't know Elgin Baylor? That's tough. That's tough.
Camp when I was a kid back in the day, so I'm gonna throw him up here, right there. Boom. Show him some love. That was Nate Archibald right there, top 75. Earl the Pearl Monroe. Oh yeah, he going up here.
How many people does he have? Cause at max, if this is the top 50, there should only be a maximum of 25 players in this tier. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22, 24. He only got one more name he could put in this tier, chat.
That's Daryl Dawkins.
That's not even Daryl Dawkins. Oh, that's funny as fuck, bro.
Put him, I'm gonna put him up here. Wes Unseld. I'm gonna put him over here.
All right, hey, chat, that's his last name. That's his last name he could put right here, yo.
Jerry Lucas. Who's Jerry Lucas? I'm horrible at this. I do not know all my NBA people. I'm sorry. Walt Frazier, I'm throwing you up here, brother. You always be having them suits. Always have the good suits. Kevin McHale, he was winning chips. So I'm gonna put him with Larry. And I'm gonna finish out these over here. All right, man. What y'all think of my list, man? What y'all think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Ooh,
I need to see the list. I need to see the list. Oh, you should have paused it. You should have paused it a little bit longer. All right.
So
this is probably the best look. Ah, shit. Hold on. I need to see the top tier. All right. This is probably the best look we can get. Yeah, I think the biggest misstep is just Tim Duncan. I think you severely underrated Tim Duncan in this discussion, and the list just would not be as bad as it is if Tim Duncan was in this tier. Because I genuinely think there's no reason why he shouldn't be in this tier. KG and Dirk, I think he's severely underrated. There is no reason why KG and Dirk should be in this tier. And I think this tier would actually be solid as fuck. Obviously, I want to put Robert Parrish in there. Probably want to put George Gervin in there or Ray Allen. But this tier would actually be decent if you just put KG and Dirk in there. And D-Wade. Don't forget about D-Wade. But all in all, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Let's talk about Gilbert Arenas' take on Azur Thompson.
What'd you think about Azur Thompson, just real quick, what he's been able to do so far his rookie year?
Yeah. Okay. So somebody like that, right? And this is just me.
Uh-oh.
But it is reality.
Uh-oh.
You're 20 turning 21, averaging 10. You're not in my future.
As a GM?
As a GM. You're 20. You're about to be a 21-year-old rookie. You're so far. I mean, if I'm gonna have him as a defensive player, okay, cool. But I mean, if I'm gonna make him like a cornerstone, like he is the cornerstone of my future, who's 21 right now?
But I mean, shit. Think about it though. If from what you just said, if he's averaging 10 as a first-year player, That means he's gonna do pretty good for
No.
later on.
Nah.
Once he gets used to the league.
Name me the best 20-year-old in the
WRL, Chad,
world right now.
WRL.
In the world or NBA?
In the NBA. Who's about to be 21, so who's turning 21 right now? 2021.
Wow, shit. You named more than 3/4 of the league. The whole league is young.
64. Oh my God.
Right, so that's...
Halliburton is how old? 23?
Yeah,
So, yeah, if he's 23, it's... How old is Maxey? 20, what, 2?
No, I want them 20, 21. That means they
Max
came...
is 23, just turned 23.
No, I'm talking about the guys who came into the league. That'll be... Ant-Man is 22. So under Ant-Man, who's before Ant-Man? Or after Ant-Man?
So you saying 22 and under?
Nah, just that the same age, but they came into the NBA 2 years ago.
Let me check.
So who's 21 right now?
They can't think of anyone.
All right, let's think.
Who is 20 years old right now? Chat saying Paolo. Let's look up. Let's actually do this activity. So the question is, who is right now 20 years old, killing the game, and is a franchise cornerstone at 20 years old? Yeah, Paolo's a good example of that. I think Chet counts in this department. Yeah, Chet would count in this department. Sengun. Yeah, Sengun counts. Wemby count. Like, a lot of this year's rookies counts. Like, we're really talking about people who, at max, are in their third year in the league. Third year in the league, second year in the league. So, that's what, 2021 draft and on. Jason Tatum. So, yeah, Sengun, Chet, Paolo. That draft.
Let's think of teams.
The last draft. Who was the last draft?
Oh, yeah. So Paolo Banchero, 21.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just turned 21 in
All
November.
right.
Not Zion.
How old is Kate?
Now, okay, that class right there. What class is that?
Chet homegirl.
Last year. Oh, yeah.
Nah, Chet came after that.
Chet was
Chet-
last year.
Chet-
No, Chet came. Chet was last year. He
Chet
got
turned
hurt.
21 in May.
Oh, yeah,
though.
Chet.
He
So
just
who
got
else? So
Wemby.
Wemby's 19.
Yeah.
Oh, Wemby's
Cade just turned 22.
Yeah, okay, so it's this draft, right?
So it would be the
This
college
draft or maybe last draft
Yeah.
from last year.
Let me pull
That's what
it.
I'm saying. So he's like, who?
His teammate.
Jalen
And
Durant.
how old? Yeah.
Jalen's
See, that's what I'm
young,
saying. So you're like you're a rook. You're a scoot. Oh, I mean, I'm not worried. He's kind of older too.
Oh, shit.
Ivy's 21.
Like I'm talking about the guys. So it was the year before. So he's a second year player, third year player.
Jaden Sharp's 20.
The Slick Chuck is on.
Okay.
So you
I
got
see
guys.
what you're saying.
You got guys who's younger, averaging 20 something. So
Right.
you're behind the 8 ball on.
Was he getting the same opportunities as these players?
No, he was in high school.
No, now. Like,
They don't.
now in Detroit.
I'm looking at the age. I don't like that rookie shit is cool, but you're averaging 10, and then this guy's younger than you, averaging 20.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where I'm gonna follow you. How fast you're gonna catch up. Like if you came in as your rookie year and you're about to be 21, you're averaging about 17 to 20, you're right on pace. As a player, right now you're behind the 8 ball on your age group.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's the only thing I'm looking at. Like, all right, let me see your numbers compared to where you're supposed to be.
For that age bracket.
That age bracket.
So age. Let's just clarify what his take is, because I do want to, and that's why I brought up the full clip. Just give as much context as we can to the clip instead of just looking at what Twitter said. So there is a little bit more explanation there, but he is very heavy on age bracket. And even looking at how he explained it, he's talking about Sir Thompson like he should be averaging 16 to 17 a game. I think that's a misjudgment of why the Pistons even drafted Sir Thompson. But ultimately, what I really think this is, and we talked about this on playback as well, because me and Damo talked about it a little bit before we watched Buns and Basketball. Crazy, I know. I think this is a semantics conversation at the end of the day as to what a franchise cornerstone is. Right? What is a franchise cornerstone? Because even the names he brought up, Paolo, Chet, right? The people we brought up, Sengun. If his definition of what a team cornerstone is the dude that's gonna be the best player on the team, at worst top 2 player on the team. This dude, the Steph Currys of the world, the LeBrons of the world, the Kevin Durant's of the world, the Joel Embiid's of the world. I do think his take has more merit in that department. And this is where the semantics come in. Do y'all view a player like Draymond Green as a cornerstone piece of a franchise, right? Do y'all view a player like Marcus Smart in 2022 as a cornerstone piece of that franchise? Do y'all view a lot of these third options in the league as cornerstones of a franchise? And if you guys do view them as a cornerstone of the franchise, I can see why y'all think that that Gilbert Arenas is bugging. But if you don't, and your definition is that high-ass standard, I can kind of see where he's coming from. But I still think he's being a little bit too critical on Asur, talking about he shouldn't be the cornerstone of, or one of the integral parts. He's not a part of the future of the Detroit Pistons. When, listen, I understand he's not putting up 17, 18 points a game, but I also don't think he was brought onto that team to be a 17, 18 point per game scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like, Asur is supposed to be, I don't even know, like 14 or 15, in my opinion, in providing you all defensive caliber type of defense, which I definitely think if that is the role that he's going to bring to that team, he has definitely shown that the potential to do that at 21 years old. So far this season, we're looking at 11 points, 8 rebounds, a steal, a block a game, and his defense doesn't pop off on the stat sheet. You really got to watch the Pistons play to see how good of a defensive player that Asur Thompson is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Asur Thompson was not brought onto this team to be a scorer. He's just not. So to expect Asur to be a 17, 18 point per game scorer out the gate, I just think is crazy, especially given the role on that team. On that team, Cade Cunningham is going to get the most touches. On that team, let's see who else is getting more touches. I understand why a guy like Bojan's getting more touches, even though he's barely played. Who else is getting more shots on this team? Okay, sure. Asur is getting the third most field goal attempts in the game. But, yeah, 9.6 is not enough to get to 17 to 18 a game anyways. And Monty is misutilizing the fuck out of his pieces anyways. So I'm just not going to overreact and say Asur is not a part of the future of that franchise, especially 23 games going into his rookie season, and especially given the fact that he's on a dysfunctional franchise and the fact that he's been having a solid rookie season. Like, again, 11-8 from a rookie, period, point blank. First season in the league, in 28 minutes a game is just not bad. But again, if the conversation, I think again the conversation just revolves a little bit too much around the semantics as to what a cornerstone is. So what is Gil talking about? DeMar DeRozan at 20 years old, 8.6. LaMarcus Aldridge 9.1. Maxey 8. Jaylen Brown 6.6. Paul George 7.8. SGA 10.8. Giannis 12.7. Kawhi 7.9. Dirk, Jokic, Rasheed Wallace, Gilbert Arenas. So, yeah, it's still a weak take because even given off of just his criteria, look at Sage dick sucking. Just given off of his fucking criteria, you can name examples. Shout out to Periodic for the gifted, man. But yeah, you can name examples of people who ended up being cornerstones on that high end of the definition that were, I'm gonna just keep it being mid as fuck during this time span that still ended up being cornerstones and were fine. So, you know, Gil's bugging. Gil's bugging at the end of the day. Dylan Does Basketball released a video called The Victims of LeBron James. Crazy title now that I'm actually thinking about it. Let's talk about the term. Shout out to Thinking Basketball. He did a video 3 days ago on the Clippers, essentially, when super teams don't work. I want to see how he analyzes the Clippers.
The Clippers are a super team. Kawhi Leonard, 5 All-NBA appearances. Paul George, 6-time All-NBA. James Harden, 7 All-NBA selections. They can all handle the ball and shoot. And Kawhi and PG have made 11 all-defensive teams in an era when versatile defensive wings are in demand. So, with all that talent, why is their offense below league average? And more importantly, why are they losing more than half their games?
Uh-oh. I do find it interesting that it looks like he's going to tackle the offense of the team. Because I've been on, like, yo, defense is a problem with this team. So.
Assembling super teams is nothing new. The first unofficial super team was the 1969 Lakers, when Wilt Chamberlain paired up with Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. They did make it back to the finals, but lost in disappointing fashion to Bill Russell's Celtics. Over the years, other teams have stacked all-stars in trades or free agency, and with mixed results. Some super teams win championships, like the 1983 76ers, the 2017 Warriors, they were pretty good, and the LeBron Wade Heatles. Although
you know what I think it is too? I think we need to reserve the term super teams for special teams. Yo, not every team can be a super team. Not every team can be a fucking super team, dog. 4 stars doesn't make you a super team. I think super team for me, it's a feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a when this team forms, who the fuck is gonna beat that team? You know, like it's there's some aura to it. When the big 3 Celtics formed, yo, who the fuck is beating this team? Right? When LeBron, Wade, and Bosh came together, yo, who's beating this team? When KD joined the Warriors after 73-9, this, et cetera, I can keep going. Who's beating that team? Ever since then, the second time I felt that, low-key, and I understand they don't have the amount of stars. It's not 3 or more. But when LeBron and AD got together, y'all, when LeBron and AD got together, and they got it done year 1, who's beating this team? But ever since then, like these attempts to call, especially after like 2020, when Russ came to the Lakers, Russ, LeBron, and AD a super team. All right, dog. Like what the fuck? I've even heard attempts of calling the 2021 Bucks a super team. I saw attempts today of trying to call the 2022 Celtics a super team. Like, all right, bro, we're just calling everything a super team nowadays. Was the Nets a super team? I'm going to be honest. In terms of production, when they played, that's probably the closest thing to a super team ever since KD left. But I also think if you want to count that 2021 team as a super team, I'm not really fighting you. But the sample size I feel like was just a little bit too small to really put that label on them. So, I don't know.
Miami failed to reach their lofty expectations in year one.
Not 5, not 6.
Some super teams are so unremarkable, they almost lose super team status with 2020 hindsight. And then there are teams that...
This one, I'm like, this team right here, especially because the standard for a super team was already set with KD on the Warriors. When Melo and PG teamed up with Russ, like, I didn't feel any type of way with that. What is this team doing? The Warriors are beating them in 6 max. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we labeling this team a super team? And D-Book, KD, and Bradley Beal, that's not a super team to me. That's not a super team to me. I'll put that out right now. So, do you think the 04 Pistons were a super team off of just a TWAM team with good players and good chemistry? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
20 hindsight. And then there are teams that almost work, but the expectations were so high they feel like letdowns. The 1997 Rockets added a third Hall of Famer a year removed from a title. And while they didn't dominate the league, they nearly made the NBA Finals. The 2004 Lakers fielded a quartet of Hall of Famers, and again, they fell short, but at least they were favorites in the final round of the playoffs.
Yeah, the 04 Lakers I would count as a super team. The Lakers prior to that, the three-peat Lakers, I don't think that was a super team. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I don't think that was a super team. Once they got Carmelo and Gary Payton, that was a super team. I think they just failed. Same thing with the 2013 Lakers, and that was another squad where I was like, when they got Dwight, yo, who the fuck is beating this team outside of Miami? Right? That gave me super team vibes. The 2013 Lakers, again, just failed. That's a failed super team.
The current quartet of Hall of Famers in LA might not win a playoff series at this rate. And while age is often a factor that inflates expectations for super teams, there is a ton more going on here. The Clippers run a lot of plays designed for isolation post-ups for their star wings that almost look like they're from the 1990s. And while some of this iso ball works because Kawhi and PG are so skilled, it's not the most efficient team offense, and it also turns the other stars into overly qualified spot-up shooters.
Teams
Notice how slow some of these sets are to develop. Harden's not looking to score here, but to hit Kawhi off this screen. Then they fall back on some isolation while 2 other Clippers clog up the paint. It's all very 2004. Harden's not really comfortable attacking from the elbow like this, so he's in all-out pass mode on these plays, waiting for something to develop. And when nothing does, he throws a hot potato to Westbrook, who's open for a reason. According to Synergy Tracking, LA is at the top of the league in number of isolation possessions, and many are by design. This is after a timeout where a contested mid-ranger is not ideal. This one looks like it's in slow motion. There's some confusion, followed by a pick to generate a switch, but Nikola Jokic can stand in the lane because 2 Clippers are jammed together in the corner. So
oh my God, I'm glad he pointed this out. Yo, we watched this on playback. I think Dama already left. Me, Sage, and Omar were literally looking at our screens. Yo, what the fuck is LA doing? Why is PJ Tucker and Norman Powell in the same fucking corner? What does this do? This play was crazy. We was also... That's what I'm saying, bro. I remember that shit. Posted the pictures on Discord, posted it on Twitter. Like, what the fuck? Shout to Riffy for the membership on YouTube, man. Appreciate you. How much of this is coach? This is a set. This is a set. I think if they naturally was just flowing in the offense, bro, it doesn't take much common sense. I could tell that, yo, we should not be in the same corner. You know what I'm saying?
A single defender can cover them, and the primary attack here is Kawhi.
So I'm saying, like 20, I don't know who 24 is right now. Literally can cover both of them. Jokic can just stay in the paint. And even if PJ cuts, he's literally already there. But if Kawhi somehow gets past his defender or even Harden, he is right there to contest. What is this play?
Isolation with 6 seconds left on the clock, which actually yields a pretty good shot. And that's the promise of this Clipper team. Defenses have to double team because there's so much scoring talent. Kawhi brings it up and draws 2 defenders here. Harden skips it across court, and George ends up with a corner 3. But they don't always capitalize when they draw a second defender. Off this screen, Harden draws 2, but they lose the advantage on the pass because James thinks that Kawhi's popping out to the line, but he sort of rolls instead, and then Kawhi goes to work in isolation, draws that help defender, but in lieu of hitting Harden, he throws up a long 2. Sometimes Kawhi will make that pass, but then the shooters won't shoot. George is wide open, gets way too cute, and the moment is gone.
That's crazy. I do think they have, specifically with the 4, they want to dribble the ball. Those 4 want to dribble the ball, bro. I think we've low-key... I think Paul George is fine. I think we've gassed how good Kawhi Leonard is, though, off ball. Like, he can hit spot-up shots, but he's not running around screens. I don't even think Paul George doesn't that much anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's just a coaching thing, though, but...
And I'm not actually sure I've ever seen a team create so many advantages only to lose the advantage a second later. Sometimes the spot-up shooter sort of record scratches. Terrence Mann is wide open here, but passes instead. So Norm Powell attacks a closeout, but then his pass is off the mark, and that lets the defense mostly recover. So sometimes this...
T. Quingate on Twitch, first-time chatter. Shout out to you. Ty Lue is a product of LeBron. I ain't saying he doesn't deserve the position. He's just a great players coach, I'm assuming is what you wanted to say. So he doesn't need to focus on his X's and O's. I think this is the thing with coaching for me. I think you hire coaches for certain tasks, right? And everyone has their role. Everyone has their time. Everyone has their place. And there are certain coaches in the league that are made for developing talent. There are certain coaches in the league that are meant to take you over the hump. And there are certain coaches in the league built to win championships. Built to win championships. Shout out to Who Knows for the prime. I think Ty Lue. I think Tom Thibodeau. I think Doc Rivers. Funny enough, they all come from the same tree. I think these are coaches that are good enough to be perennial playoff coaches. They can coach good playoff teams to second, even Western Conference Finals, right? But I don't think you can win a championship with these guys, though. You know what I'm saying? So that's me with Ty Lue and even Doc Rivers. Are they capable of being an NBA coach, even at a high level? Yes. But can you win a championship with them? Can they be a coach of your team for 4 straight series and win 4 games out of 7 every single time for 4 straight series? I don't think so. And I think, to me, that's a differentiating factor. Shout out to Galaxy fam for the first time chat. I think they was fine without Harden. And shout out to Who Knows 134 Kamusta. B-Souls was good, man. Shout out to you. I don't know if you're from the Philippines. Shout out to Vast Loss for the first time chat. Hey, first time chatters on Twitch, man. Shout out to y'all. We got 86 right now on Twitch. We got 202 right now on YouTube. Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, I think that's just what it is with Ty Lue. He's a cool coach. Can you win a championship with him, though, outside of having the best player on your team and having an anomaly, you know what I'm saying, 4-game stretch? Who are some examples of championship coaches? Steve Kerr. I think Greg Popovich is another one. Ironically, I don't think Greg Popovich is a good rebuilding coach, actually. And maybe he's just doing it on purpose, but I don't like what he's doing in San Antonio. But if you want to win a championship and you got the personnel to work with Greg Popovich's system, think Greg Popovich is still a championship coach. Eric Spoelstra is a championship coach. Absolutely. Phil Jackson obviously is a championship coach. But would you trust Phil Jackson rebuilding your team? I don't know. I don't think I would trust Phil Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Rebuilding my team. As far as a championship coach who hasn't won it that I think can, hey, I'm high on Ime, dog. I think Ime got it. Mike Brown, I think Mike Brown is a take you over the hump type of coach, actually. I think that's Mike Brown. Mike Malone obviously is a championship level coach. Fucking won it last year, so I knew you were gonna say Ime. How did you know?
This is also a passing issue. Kawhi draws the double, and the big man is open at the rim. But Leonard misses it. The skip pass is open, but it resets back to Harden, who's floated 35 feet out for some reason. And when it gets to George, the advantage is gone. And at least he can attack a bunch of space and hit pay dirt late in the clock. Kawhi backs down on this one, and when the double team comes, Harden's spaced too far away, and that means one defender can cover two Clippers. Kawhi misreads it, and that leads to a turnover. A few minutes later, it's the same setup. Harden's in better position this time, but Kawhi's worried about that pass now, needs to dribble to find an outlet, and that leads to a wide open PG, but he doesn't shoot for some reason.
Why?
And then man isn't even in position to.
Oh my God, I remember this game. You know what's crazy about this game, y'all? Now it's pissing me even more. I bet on PG's 3-point attempts, dog. I think he had like 5 this game. And, oh God.
Shoot on the catch, so the advantage goes away, and Harden ends up with a difficult shot. Man has had his issues in these situations, capitalizing on his teammates' attention, deciding whether to shoot or drive. Although Harden has probably killed more advantages than anyone. Man attacks the closeout, and then instead of shooting, Harden lets Jabari Smith close all the way back to him so the defense can completely reset while he plays footsie in the corner.
Bro, what
this
is
time
that?
It's George working in space, so the defense sends a second defender to help, and Harden isn't even thinking of shooting and lets the Spurs recover again before moving.
Harden has to stop, bro. Harden has to stop. And these are things, and shout out to Think of Basketball for pointing them out. I am going to keep track of this for whenever I watch Clippers games from now on. How much is Harden open and he's just passing up shots just because he wants to dribble the fucking basketball? I want to keep up with that, dog, because this is getting out of hand, dog. I've literally seen in this video 10 plays where Harden is wide the fuck open, and he just doesn't want to take the shot because he wants to create off the dribble. What is going on, bro?
Thinking of shooting and lets the Spurs recover again before moving into the pick and roll game. And this one might take the cake, where he runs to the line just to wait for the defender to catch up to him.
What the
only so he can throw it over to Ian Eagle on.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What is Harden doing? Shout out to Samurai Dragon for the first time, chat. No, that's crazy.
Press row.
I got it. Unbelievable.
This is part of the challenge of Harden playing away from the ball. He's historically only a touch better on catch and shoot threes than on off the dribble ones. And he doesn't attack closeouts well. He's not going to explode into space and finish in traffic, and so he turns it into a tough mid-ranger instead. That means that defenses don't have to pay much attention to him when he doesn't have the ball. So his man can sit in Kawhi's driving lane while he's one pass away, and he ends up looking to the other side and throws it to a defender. As strange as it sounds, the Clippers would be...
Bro, not Harden being a negative floor spacer. Yo... How you a 37% shooting from 3 and a negative floor spacer, dog? I've never seen that. Yo, Chad, I've never seen that, bro. just off of the fact that he doesn't shoot the ball when he's open. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Better in spot-up situations with an elite shooter or someone who attack closeouts with more explosiveness. But hold on.
There's a flip side to that coin.
And what exactly is that flip side?
You know, I'm not a system player. I am a system. You know what I mean? So.
And he's sort of right in that Harden pick-and-roll possessions have historically produced really good results. So the theory on these possessions is sound, with George occupying a defender on one side and Kawhi spacing the floor on the other, so Harden has room to drive and attack. Of course, the beard is a little grayer now, so he doesn't have the same burst to be a one-man offense. And the concern here is that him dominating the ball turns George and Kawhi into history's most expensive spot-up shooters, and even then, he still might not pass it.
This is giving me so much 2022 Russell Westbrook vibes, dog. This is what it gives me. Why be Omar when you can be Souls type shit? Wait, what? What are you talking about? Because I was saying back then, listen, Russ is on the team, right? Russ is on the team. If we want this shit to work the best it can with Russ in the team, specifically in the starting lineup, the offense actually has to run through Russ, right? Because if the offense runs through LeBron, Russ is such a negative off ball that's just going to fuck up the whole offense. But if it's another case, because of the fact that AD can play off ball, because LeBron can play more off ball, Russ actually being the main playmaker of that offense would probably actually be your best decision. Is it the best decision in terms of, yo, we're running our offense through our third best player? We're running our offense through our third highest paid player? No. But in terms of what is going to make the ship sail as smooth as possible, this is what we got to do. And what I'm saying with the Clippers is the exact same thing. The exact same thing. At this point in time, should you be running the offense through James Harden? No. Should it be ran through James Harden when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are on your team? No. But if you don't, these are the weaknesses that you have to deal with because James Harden is so bad off ball. James Harden is so bad off ball that despite being a 38%, 37% shooter from three, he is actually causing spacing issues because he won't fucking shoot. He's causing spacing issues because he won't move off ball. But Kawhi can do that. But Paul George can do that better. So I think for the Clippers, the offense needs to run through James Harden. The offense should run through James Harden. If they want this ship to smooth, if they want this ship to sail as smooth as possible, that is what they're going to have to do. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they're going to have to swallow their pride up even more. Russ already did his part. This has to be the James Harden show if we want to make it work, which is unfortunate because I do think that tells a lot about James Harden, the player, and how versatile he is and how he fits in other systems. But it is what it is. Like, we're here. We're trying to win games. We have championship expectations, you know?
Leonard and PG do have solid off-ball value, both as spot-up threats and even on the move like this. So more handoffs or movement can amplify their value away from the ball while Harden creates openings. The other challenge with the Harden pick-and-roll game is the roll man, because the Clippers don't really have a great partner for him. Ivica Zubac isn't an elite lob threat, and this might be rust, but Harden missed.
And I'm not going to lie, he's probably right. He can't play in a system. He is a system. Might as well. Hey, we might as well just accept that fact, right? Type shit.
Him here instead of his eyes lighting up. And more importantly, they struggle when teams send 2 defenders to the ball handler and the bigs have to pass on the move. Zubac in particular is overtaxed as a playmaker.
Can you go full screen? I want to, but for some reason my internet is lagging. I don't know if it's because I'm multi-streaming. Maybe it's, I don't know what the fuck going on. Maybe I just need to reset my computer, but I don't want to reset my computer. But we'll just stick to this for now.
These short roll situations.
I could do
because
this,
that's not really his strength. Here he catches.
Yeah, man. Modern Jam released this video called "We Keep Forgetting About." We gotta talk about Ben Simmons, man.
Ben Simmons.
All right, we have to talk about Ben Simmons because I genuinely feel like people have just given up on him. I genuinely feel like people have given up on him, especially because I think he's injured again. He's injured again. He has a back injury right now. So far this season, he's only played 6 games, and even in those 6 games, people saw improvement. People did saw improvement. He was playing better defensively. He was running the court a little bit better. But is this who Ben Simmons is anymore? At this point? Just a 6 to 8 point per game scorer? What happened to the game I love, man? I remember this Ben Simmons like it was yesterday. 17 points per game, DPOY caliber player, unstoppable going downhill when he gets downhill. Hey, shout out the Hoop Reports for the video. Let's have this discussion about Big Ben, man.
Ben Simmons is the most disappointing player the NBA has seen in the last decade. He's not a bad player. He's not a bust. But when you're looking at the combination of size, talent, and potential, he's by far the most disappointing player the NBA has seen over the last 10 years. I mean, listen to these clips on what people thought Ben Simmons was going to become.
Those guys, these are the future of the NBA. And, you know, the NBA is in great hands with Ben. And
he is LeBron James 2.0. Or part 2, whatever way you want to put it.
That's
the
crazy.
NBA is
That's
in great
crazy.
hands with Ben.
Chat,
He is
that's
LeBron
crazy.
James 2.0. Talk about bad takes.
Okay, so this is the discussion what I like to have. I always like to have with the bus conversation. Pause. What does a bus mean, and what is the maximum threshold for what you need to do to be a bust? Because again, we just saw clips, and I remember the time when Ben Simmons got drafted into the league. It sounds crazy now, but again, if you were there during that time, people were hyping up Ben Simmons. He was a unanimous number 1 overall draft pick going into that draft. Based off of what everyone was seeing, the hype made sense. This dude was a 6'10" point guard that can facilitate and has a passing ability. Like, he was one of the best passers in the league, which he proved coming into the NBA. And then he proved that he can also be one of the best defenders in the league. He had a pretty strong rim presence. From all of the accounts, Ben Simmons was looking like a bona fide franchise player in this league. Bona fide franchise player in this league. And the career that he had still consists of 3 All-Star appearances, still consists of 2 All-Defensive teams, and still consists of 1 All-NBA appearance. Not a lot of players in history can say that they got 3 All-Star appearances, 2 All-Defensive teams, a Rookie of the Year, and an All-NBA appearance. Not a lot of players can say that. However, based off of what he was supposed to be, before James Harden and Joel Embiid came together, before Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid came together, it was supposed to be Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid taking over not only the Eastern Conference, but the league. What they were doing in 2018 was them being ahead of the curve. It wasn't supposed to come that quick for Philly, but it did. Teams were scared to match up with that 2018 Philadelphia 76ers team until Al Horford busted that ass. Right? Until Al Horford busted that ass. We won't forget that until Brad Stevens really exposed Ben Simmons for his weaknesses. And now here we are in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, if we start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are now in year 8. Ben Simmons is a injury-prone player. Ben Simmons can't even score 10 points a game. Ben Simmons has questions about, his motor and love for the game. And there's questions about, hey, Ben Simmons he's never going to get back to that All-NBA player that we ever saw by year 8. So my question is, would y'all consider that type of career a bust? Because again, Ben Simmons was one of those dudes that had extremely high expectations. And I'm not the biggest draft guy. I don't dig into prospects as much as other people. But I feel like there's a level of, all right, literally everyone is saying he's the unanimous #1 pick. And if you pass up on him, it's a 2-man draft. Brandon Ingram has no argument over Ben Simmons unless it's for fit purposes. I don't know. I feel like at that point, when the whole world is literally saying you're the next guy up, I, even as the casual, can surmise that, okay, you have extremely high potential. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me know if y'all think that's a bust though. But we're just getting started.
It's crazy how in just a few short years, the #1 overall pick from 2016 has gone from becoming a possible future face of the league to becoming possibly out of the league. And that's both sad and true. With the way things are looking today, Ben Simmons' NBA career may actually be over. The start of the 2022 season was where things started to really go downhill for Ben Simmons' career. He had bad blood with the 76ers, wasn't participating in team practices. Then, when they started to withhold his payments, he cited mental health issues. Then, when he was finally traded to the Brooklyn Nets, instead of playing games, he was dressed up as Willy Wonka and sitting on the bench during the playoffs when his team needed him, and this is how the NBA felt about him at the time.
Ben Simmons might also be the weakest, most pathetic excuse for a professional athlete we have ever seen in not just American history, but the history of sports.
Oh, wow.
Ben Simmons eventually got back surgery, which got the heat off him a bit. Then a few weeks later into rehab, Simmons posted on Instagram saying that he was feeling incredible. At around that point, Ben had the entire NBA world believing that they did him dirty and that a revenge season was on its way.
He's ready to go. He swears he's ready to.
So, Young Gross on YouTube says, so if Bron had the same career as Ben, we calling him a bust? And that's the question I want to pose. Because I think there's clear busts in NBA history, right? Like Adam Morrison bust. Kwame Brown bust. #1 overall draft picks that could not average 10 points a game and was straight bums relative to the NBA. But I think there's this second level of like, okay, you weren't ass. You weren't ass at all. In the case of Ben Simmons, you were an all-NBA caliber player at your peak. But what we expected from you was top 50 player of all time, right? That type of performance. What we expected from you was to be a franchise cornerstone of this franchise for the next decade. What we expected from you was a level of production that gave us security in terms of, yo, you are our guy to build around for a championship. You and Joel Embiid, you were supposed to be that guy. And for that dude, by year 8 to be hella injury prone to the point where he is sitting out whole seasons or not being able to play 50 to 60 games every single season, and as a dude who can't even average 10 points a game when you are capable and showed capability of averaging 18, 19 points a game. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm going to be honest. I'm leaning towards bust, but I don't know. Like, I've kind of given that up on Andrew Wiggins' part as well. I think he's had a solid enough career, even as a #1 pick, to just say, hey, he wasn't a bust. But for Ben Simmons, dog, like, jeez, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Go, I'm rooting for the brother.
Like, I think I could genuinely make an argument that Andrew Wiggins has had a better career than Ben Simmons. I think that's the difference. That's the difference between those two. But
personally, after hearing his interview on the JJ Redick podcast, I too became a believer in Ben. I thought he was going to make the NBA great again. Well, that didn't happen. Points, rebounds, assists, all around the board, Ben was worse. Heck, he even played better in his rookie season. Then just halfway into the 2023 season, deja vu happened. Another back injury, and he was out again for the entire year. At about this time, a Reddit user actually guessed correctly that Ben's about to put out some crazy empty gym videos this offseason. And lo and behold, the offseason came, and just like the fan had guessed, Ben started posting his offseason workouts on his socials. Then, just like this other fan had predicted, his annual routine has started again. Ben Simmons looks great this offseason. Ben Simmons put up great numbers the first few games. Ben Simmons is injured and will miss some time. Ben Simmons requires surgery. So, just 6 games into the 2024 season, after putting up a few near triple-doubles, Ben Simmons was diagnosed with another lower back injury and just had an epidural injection, which is a type of anesthesia to stop pain signals from traveling from the spine to the brain. What an accurate prediction.
Isn't that crazy?
And this is just the first reason why Ben Simmons' NBA career may be over. Perhaps his body just can't take it anymore. This is now the 3rd year in a row that he's had some type of lower back injury. And while I'm not a doctor or an expert on human anatomy, I do know that lower back injuries are a major concern, especially in sports.
They use epidurals for birth. He must be in hell. No, that's bad.
Especially if it's a reoccurring theme, and especially if his job description includes guarding 7-foot behemoths like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Joel Embiid on a nightly basis. Ben is currently 27 years old. He's not exactly old, but he's not exactly a spring chicken anymore either. With his style of physical play, can his body hold up? And this leads me to point number 2, why Ben Simmons' career may be over. Does Ben even want his body to hold up? Does Ben still want to hoop? I mean, he signed a 4-year, $26 million contract when he was just a rookie. Then back in 2019, he signed a max rookie extension of $177 million. Whichever way you look at it, Ben has done amazing financially and has earned generational wealth.
And that's fully guaranteed
Perhaps
money too.
He's just one of those players that disappears once he gets the bag. Like, why else would he not develop a jump shot? Kobe Bryant even warned him a few years ago about this.
Well, he's got to get a jump shot.
As of today, after 8 years of being drafted into the league, Ben still doesn't have an NBA jump shot. I mean, look here. This is Ben's shot chart for the 2024 season. I know it's only 6 games, but look, he's only taken 1 shot from outside the painted area, and that shot was just barely.
Bro, that is crazy. This is crazy. He's giving up on it. But so I think that's the catch-22 though, with people who can't shoot and trying to learn a jump shot. It's a learning curve, right? For most people, you can't just spend 1 off season and go from a dude who does not shoot threes to a dude who shoots 37% from 3. That's just not gonna happen. So, but you have to shoot in game to find out if you can actually shoot threes, right? So for Ben Simmons, I understand at some point he needs to shoot, but would you want someone who can't shoot threes to shoot threes? You know what I'm saying? And I guess these are things that you just find out in practice, but we also know that how you shoot in practice is not how you shoot in games. Like, Shaq has had stories of like, yo, if I'm shooting free throws in practice, I don't miss. But once I get into a game, that shit goes down to 50%. We've seen clips of Mitchell Robinson hitting 8 threes in a fucking row like it's nothing, but we all know Mitchell Robinson shouldn't be shooting threes in a game. And I think for Ben Simmons, that's the same thing. If we had a shootout right now, I think Ben Simmons could outshoot me. No cap. If we had a shootout right now, 3-point shootout, 3-point contest, I think Ben Simmons could outshoot a lot of motherfuckers in chat right now. But in a game, it's a difference. It's a difference.
Outside the painted area. The crazy thing is, it's not just the jump shot either. Look at this play here where he refused to take advantage of a good roll to the rim and instead went for the pass, which resulted in a turnover instead. The commentators were just as perplexed as I was.
Wait, what?
Look at this play here where he refused to take advantage of a good roll to the rim and instead went for the pass.
Is that not the right play? I mean, I guess the problem is he went straight to pass first. If he tried to go up and saw Nick Claxton cutting and in midair dumped it off to Nick Claxton, I think that would have been a better play. But it's not the worst play in the world, though.
Pass, which resulted in a turnover instead.
Nick Claxton needs better hands.
The commentators were just as perplexed as I was.
Nick Claxton needs better hands.
Why not? Yeah, why not take it?
Blue Cornett was about to block that shit. What the fuck?
And even if you miss.
This really raises the question of whether or not he still even wants to play in the NBA. Because with the way teams in the league are structured now, if you can't shoot, you're a liability. And if you're a liability, why should you be on the court? I mean, look at how they're guarding him. In this play here where Simmons has the ball on the perimeter.
I don't agree with that last statement too. I think there's a way for you to be a non-shooter and be effective on the court. It just makes things a little bit harder. But like Russ has been able to provide value while not being able to shoot. You know what I'm saying? Draymond Green has been able to provide value without being able to shoot. You just have to be a defensive monster. Like deadass, you gonna have to be a defensive monster, which I do think Ben Simmons is capable of. And I think his value would go up if Nick Claxton was a shooter as well. I think the problem is Nick Claxton is also valuable on the defensive end to the point where he needs to start. But starting Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton, two non-spacers on your team, that's the bad part. That's the bad part.
Bobby Portis is literally standing by the elbow and clogging the paint, making the defense that much tighter because Ben can't shoot. It got so bad to the point where Ben's teammates were screaming at him to shoot the ball.
Now Irving sees a seam, drops it off, Simmons dishes.
So look, as of now, we're not sure if Ben's back can continue to handle the rigors of the NBA. We're not sure if he even wants to play in the NBA. And even if he wants to play in the NBA, we're not sure if his inability to shoot even justifies having him on the floor. Now, the million-dollar question is, can Ben Simmons reinvent himself? Can he learn how to be effective again? Can he learn how to stay healthy? Can he learn how to shoot a jump shot?
This dude bleed.
Well, I personally don't think so. And this scouting report by Jonathan Givony sums it up pretty well. Lack of competitiveness in crucial games, questions about his character, he needs things to revolve around him, closed-minded to coaching or instruction. This was a report written about him back in 2016, and it seems to be an accurate description of what we're seeing from him today.
Well,
Doc Rivers recently went into it a little bit too.
Ben was frustrated in a whole different way. You know, just the mental part, the health part, the injury part, you know, just the work.
Yo, Doc is crazy. Ben was just frustrating in a different way. It was the mental part, the health part, the work ethic part, his will to win part, his willingness to shoot part. Yo, Doc Rivers is crazy.
Work ethic part.
Given his reputation, which is coming from multiple different sources, Ben doesn't seem to be the type of player who will change much in the next 2 to 3 years, and the bad news for him is that his contract is over after 2020.
T-Bird, a different way, every way. every single way. Every single way. It was frustrating in a different way. All right, Doc.
5. Given his current injury and probability for future injuries, What kind of team is going to want to pick him up? And how much does Ben want in terms of financial incentives? He's for sure not getting a max contract. But is he even worth a mid-level contract? One ex-NBA player is saying that he's only worth the vet minimum now.
Brick Gordelli in the building?
Even that's a gamble. I mean, if he stops playing basketball mid-season for whatever reasons, that's a wasted roster spot and a tainted locker room. On the other side of the coin, what kind of rebuilding teams are going to want to pick up a 29-year-old Ben who's had multiple lower back injuries? This is sports, and while anything could happen, it doesn't look good for Ben at this point. What we're seeing from him today could very well be the beginning of the end of a once promising NBA career.
Yeah, no, it's definitely sad, because I think at this point, the concern to me isn't even his play. I think you can find a spot, even if Ben Simmons is just 7 points a game, 5 assists, 10 rebounds. If that is him, good defensively. Not a great rim protector, but more so like a POA defender. If that's him, I think there's a spot for him in the league. But if his injuries can't hold up, I think that's the biggest part. The work ethic thing, hey, I can't speak on that. But yeah, it's the injuries part. He can't stay healthy. Lockdown K released a video called "What Actually Happened to These Viral Basketball Players." This should be a funny video because the thumbnail includes Julian Newman, LiAngelo Ball. Who is this? White Me? I don't know. This isn't this a 7'8" dude? Like I don't know who that is. But all right, man. Let's get to the video.
Waking up one day and seeing that one of your basketball mixtapes has gone viral, reaching millions of people. Well, that's what happened to these guys. Well, for the players that we're covering today, this sudden success was a reality that shot them to the top of the basketball world. Unfortunately though, this fame can disappear just as fast as it came to them, leaving them to find a new path to follow in life. But that still begs the question, what happened to them? I did some research and I was surprised by what I
There's a face to the channel. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those faceless automated channels. I like that.
found. Is there a better way to start this video than with a member of one of the most hyped up prospect families in the history of basketball? And so, covering the product of LeVar Ball's genius marketing, we have his second son, LiAngelo Ball. We all know that it was impossible to be a basketball fan without being bombarded with highlights from every single one of the Ball brothers' performances back in 2015. I mean, did we ever see...
I never saw it in LiAngelo, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Out of those Ball brothers, Lonzo, I definitely saw it. LaMelo, I actually was high on before like he even had that growth spurt. I just like the way that he played. But LiAngelo, dog, never saw it. Shout out to Persian for the $3.
When you gonna react to the stuff people responded to your messages about in the Discord?
Oh, you talking about the Explorer page? I haven't reacted to that. God, L Streamer, man, L Streamer. But
three brothers playing together on the same team, absolutely destroying the opposition. Out of the three, LiAngelo has by far the biggest frame, which he used to bully players offensively and score from anywhere on the court. From spot-up shots to straight-up forcing his way to the rim, he was doing whatever he wanted on offense. LeVar would even go as far to say that his son was stronger than Zion.
I mean, he does look built. Zion's different.
Now, obviously, this was just part of LeVar's marketing scheme to get his sons into the league. However, still though, LiAngelo's strength was undeniable. Still, during high school, he would find himself a bit behind his brothers regarding talent recognition, so he'd end up as only a 3-star recruit. The fame was there, which helped him get a few college offers. The one he would commit to, though, would be UCLA. Just as he was ready to make a name for himself in the basketball world, things wouldn't go as planned for him, as his college career would be much shorter than he hoped, and not for good reasons.
I feel like if I was personally 6'4", I would play exactly like LiAngelo. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if I lost 20 pounds, really took basketball seriously, and grew to 6'4", I feel like I'd end up playing like LiAngelo. I ain't gonna lie. Like, with that type of handle, too, type shit.
Thing is that...
Nah, it's just, like, what is he? What's his build, chat? A 6'4", small forward shot creator as bulky. It's a crazy build. When has that ever worked? I think like LiAngelo in his perfect case scenario would be like Desmond Bain. You know what I'm saying? Like if he got leaner and improved that handle a little bit. Talk about a undersized wing that can really score. I think Desmond Bain would be like, you know what I'm saying, his build.
During the preseason international tour that the Pac-12 held in China, LiAngelo and 2 of his UCLA mates got caught stealing Louis Vuitton glasses. This would not only result in a 1-year suspension for them, but literally risk going to jail in another country. This would end up nearly causing an international crisis
China
as U.S. diplomacy and Donald Trump had to intervene to help them avoid getting imprisoned and get them safely returned to the U.S. As he returned to American soil, LiAngelo decided there was no way he would spend 1 full year not playing basketball. So he decided to go with LaMelo to play professionally in the Lithuanian League to prepare for the 2018 draft. Unfortunately, this would end up not going well, as LiAngelo would break his ankle in Europe and end up not being drafted. He would find himself forced to play in the Junior Basketball League founded by his own father. There he would start showing some of that LiAngelo magic that we saw in high school, as he dropped a couple of 50-point burgers and led his team to the title and got Finals MVP. This would get the interest of NBA scouts for the second time around, with multiple teams getting him to join their summer league or training camp squad. This would not net him a spot in the main squad of these franchises. However, he would still show enough to play in the G League, where he is still, to this day, a part of the Hornets G League affiliate, the Greensboro Swarm. I mean, he didn't succeed like his brothers, with both Lonzo and LaMelo having been top 2 picks in the drafts. But still, LiAngelo's NBA dreams are alive, as with enough work, he could hopefully get a spot in the rotation of 1 of 30 NBA.
Bro, I remember that week LiAngelo was in the G League. Yo, DKM was going crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to my guy DKM, newlywed DKM. Bro, that week, putting out crazy content, getting off the craziest I told you so's, bro. That shit was so funny.
NBA teams coming soon. Guys, take a look at this slam cover from 2002. To the right, you have a player considered by many to arguably be the greatest in the league's history. And to the left, you have this guy. And for those who don't know him, this is Sebastian Telfair. At the time, they were both seen as the next big thing in the world of basketball. Straight from Coney Island, Sebastian was the #1 player in the country in every one of his years in middle school. Still,
I don't know Sebastian Telfair?
During his time in high school at Lincoln Academy, he would
I don't know Sebastian Telfair. I'm gonna be honest, I started watching basketball in 2010. But even I know Sebastian Telfair. Come on, dog. I ain't gonna lie. He used to be a calm little backup point guard in those early 2Ks, like 2K12 type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were trying to build a team, you need like a 79 overall point guard. Get you Sebastian Telfair.
Quickly become one of the most sought after prospects in basketball, even becoming the youngest player ever selected to the Adidas ABCD camp. Sonny Vaccaro would even say that Sebastian was one of the most brilliant high school players that he has ever seen. Oh, in case you were wondering who this Sonny guy is, he is none other than the man who signed Michael Jordan to Nike back in the 80s. Anyway, at the time, everything was lined up for Sebastian to become the next big thing. He would end his high school career as a 5-star recruit, win the USA Mr. Basketball Award in 2004, and even managed to become the all-time leading scorer in New York. He was such a big sensation that stars like Jay-Z lined up just to watch his high school games. Every single college wanted a piece of him. At the time, players were still allowed to go from high school straight to the NBA. And with Sebastian wishing to get his family out of the projects as quickly as possible, the decision was very clear. He declared for the 2004 draft. He also signed with Adidas for a $15 million shoe deal to kickstart his future as a star in the league. However, there was a small problem. Well, a big problem. His game just didn't translate to the league. I mean, what it came down to was he was a 6-foot guard who was really fast, but couldn't really defend and couldn't really shoot. Now, while this didn't make him a bad player, it more just meant he wasn't going to be the next big thing in the NBA. It just meant that that star level wasn't really in his future for the NBA. He would still play in the NBA for a total of 10 seasons. He would find a role as a journeyman guard, as he played for 8 different teams during his tenure in the league. And he would finally retire in 2015, having made enough money to live and retire peacefully. That unfortunately was not what ended up happening.
Who the fuck was that? Who is that?
Having made enough money to live and retire.
I thought that was Justin Bieber, dog. I thought that was J Biebs.
Peacefully. That unfortunately was not what ended up happening to him. as from there on out, it was only the beginning of the problems for him. Now, Sebastian had already gotten into a few legal troubles during his time in the league, like when he got caught driving way over the speed limit in 2007, or when he pleaded guilty to criminal possession of a gun in 2008. But that would be nothing compared to what—
Yo, Quellum, I addressed it earlier in the stream. I know he called me out.
happened to him in 2017, when he was sentenced to 3 years in jail for yet another weapons possession that would end up in an appeal that is still going on to this day. And to make matters worse, in just 2021, he would get caught in a fraud scandal with 17 other former NBA players, like Tony Allen and Glenn Davis, after they had allegedly tried to defraud the NBA's welfare program. For someone who was once said to take over the league with LeBron James, takeover is far from what actually happened. We now have the profile of a different type of player, Connor Williams. Standing at only 7 feet tall and weighing
with the mask
over 370 pounds, to compare, a prime Yao Ming weighed about 310 pounds at 7'6". Now, your first thought when you see this guy would be that he has a bully ball play style, using his big body to just go through every single defender in the way. But that actually couldn't be farther from the truth, because, believe it or not, despite his big build, his most famous highlight tapes are actually of him giving dimes and making threes. We're talking about one of the biggest players in college basketball.
How he fat Jokic. Oh my God, bruh. How he fat Jokic.
Playing with the same finesse as a 6-foot guard. He enrolled in St. John Fisher's D3 basketball program, where he would fill up the center spot. In 2021, he would have his moment of glory when a clip of him exploded online during an exhibition game versus the University of Buffalo. And you can see it right here. Connor tripped up, rolled his ankle, and still managed to get up and finish the play with a beautiful pass right into the rim, giving his teammate an easy dunk. He would start receiving praise from every corner, with his coach even saying that he was lucky to have him on his team, as it felt like he was having another coach on the court. His fame would get even bigger when a series of interviews done with him would show how nice and down to earth he is, earning him more than 40,000 followers on Instagram. A few months later, another highlight of him would surface, but this time it would be of him knocking down threes. Connor has been doing his thing in college, balancing basketball and a cybersecurity major, all while hoping that he maybe gets that NBA call someday. Still, this guy also seems to have business in his blood by making sure to cash in off his newfound viral success. He knew there was no better time to monetize his image and likeliness than when he had national spotlights all over him. And so he worked closely with numerous companies like Barstool Sports and DXL, even going as far as making signed player cards available on the market. Oh, and we can't forget about his big heart, because despite being a college student athlete, he is very implicated in charity work and giving back to his community. Connor took his viral success as a perfect opportunity to sell branded sweatshirts and give a chunk of the sale to a local charity organization.
What a guy.
We appreciate you, Connor. As we've seen throughout this video, getting a taste of early basketball success doesn't necessarily translate into making a living out of the sport. Well, unless you're an early bloomer like Akil Carr, the Baltimore native was must-watch basketball during his high school days.
Nah, he had a crazy mixtape.
Every single news outlet of the region praising him and presenting him as a future great of the sport. Despite only being 5'6", Carr was one of the most electric players in the entire nation. His quick first step and
look at some of these handles, dog.
Players who were far bigger and
his mixtapes were insane.
He even posterized players that he had no business doing to. Every single highlight contributed to his rapidly growing fame, with mixtapes online earning millions of views and helping spread his name. During just his sophomore year at Patterson High School, he would cement his status as a Baltimore legend, with numerous incredible performances, like when he carried his team to win the Christmas game special with a 57-point burger bomb over Forest Park, beating on the same occasion his school's all-time scoring record. He would even lead his school the following year to win a state championship. Man, at that point, Akil was turning into something much bigger than basketball. He was turning into a Baltimore native legend. His high school even started to relocate some of the games to the arena in Morgan State University.
Does Sage know about him?
Patterson's gym couldn't fit the thousands of people that wanted to see him play. This would lead him to earning one of the most unique nicknames ever, as Carr was called the Crime Stopper, literally coming from the fact that so many people wanted to watch his games that the crime rate was lower on game days. As you can guess, when you reach that point of fame, chances are that the entire nation knows about you. And let me tell you, that was exactly the case. And in 2011, Akil would get selected to represent the USA junior team in an international tournament in Italy. And there, he did one of the most carry jobs in history, averaging 40 points per game and leading USA to a gold medal. He impressed the Italians so much that they even offered him a $750,000 annual contract before he even got out of high school. So he had to decide pros or college. And according to him, he opted out from college, even though he had over 28 scholarships to play all over the country. To everyone's surprise though, Akil wanted to be under the lights of the big league. He would forego his college eligibility, going to play in China first with retired NBA legends. Things didn't work out overseas, so he went to play one season in the D-League with the Delaware 87ers.
Nah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. That's smart from his perspective, at least in my opinion. Because while, yes, he had the potential to make it to the big leagues, like, being able to provide for your family that soon, that quick, I felt like it was worth a shot. And I'm gonna keep it a bean. I feel like there's a lot of basketball players that would have really long careers if they just played in any other league beside the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Because the standards for the NBA is so high that, you know, for some players, it is of your best interest to play overseas for a longer period of time, maybe not make as much money. Maybe it isn't your ultimate dream, because I feel like every Hooper's dream is to make it to the NBA, or at least a lot of Hooper's dreams are. But, you know, if you can land a situation where you're making $500,000, $750,000 a year playing basketball, you know how crazy that is? I understand, like, when we talk about NBA numbers, it doesn't sound that crazy. But just me and you, regular people, $500,000, $700,000 a year to play basketball, and you can maintain that for multiple years, even just a 4 or 5 year run. 4 or 5 year run, you can rack up $5 million. You know what you can do with $5 million in 5 years, dog? Like, god damn, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money right there. That's nothing to scoff at.
Where he still ended up having issues with the team. So right after that, he declared for the 2014 NBA draft. The problem he faced is that short guards are some of the most undervalued prospects for NBA teams.
Yeah.
So the 5'6" guard would find himself undrafted. From there on out, he would go abroad to keep playing the game he loved, playing some seasons in Canada, then in Cyprus, before finding his way back to the USA, and playing for his hometown's team, the Baltimore Hawks, in the ABA. And well, one thing's for sure, it's that he didn't lose an ounce of talent, as he got selected as an ABA All-Star just last year. As good as a player can get, one saying is repeated in the basketball world, that you can't teach height, which would unfortunately spell the demise of Akil's NBA hopes. What happens when you shut down a young viral prospect in front of millions of people? Well, you become a viral sensation yourself. This is the story of Michi Terry, the 6-foot defensive-oriented guard who was a central part of the St. Edwards Eagles.
Bro, I know someone who went to school with
even
them,
helping them
dog.
reach an Ohio State Finals 4 appearance.
Shout out to
He was a
Darius.
true hound on the court,
But
always
stop.
being the one player to do that one hustle play that
You're a
was
lick
needed,
monster,
or
dude.
just take the opposition's best player. Every single scout profile compared him to Pat Bev, with him being an aggressive on-ball defender and a very,
Pat
very
Bev
vocal
comparisons
trash
is
talk.
crazy.
Even more than
I
all
fuck
of
with
this,
it, though. I
what
fuck
really
with
made him famous was his slightly different appearance. Because as just a high schooler, Terry was already losing most of the hair on his head, earning him the nickname Bald Head. This would also lead to many online questioning his real age, especially in the comments on his social media posts. Terry's fame would reach its height when during a game against Spire Institute, he would trash talk the young star LaMelo Ball before locking him up during the next play. This fame would be short-lived though, because he would soon find himself fighting way bigger problems in his life.
What the
like I
fuck?
said, his high school career was
Did he go broke?
good, but it wasn't good enough to garner real interest
Did
from
he go
big
broke?
colleges. He did attract some interest from a big prep school in Minnesota, which he wanted to play for, but they didn't have any housing for him. The thing is that Terry had bet everything on joining, so when that plan fell down,
Bald
he actually found himself
fam.
having to
Oh
live
my
in a
God.
homeless shelter in Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
He absolutely did not
He
give
actually
up
did
on his
go broke.
situation and decided to just start grinding on his own. He would put in daily work in the gym before going back to the shelter at night. This hard work would not go unnoticed, as he would get recruited by DME Academy and given a chance in Florida. And he did not let it go to waste. He just balled out, and he managed to get the spotlight back on him again.
Get it? Yo, get it? He just balled out.
But this time it wasn't because of his looks. It was purely for his skill. The fairy tale would not stop here though, as in 2020, he would get that college call that he so desperately waited for. And no, it wouldn't be any random one.
Akimbo! No, chat, that's crazy.
After all this hard work, Terry succeeded in getting a Division I offer from Cleveland State. He immediately accepted it and took it as an occasion to turn his life around. While he wasn't the most flamboyant player on the court, His high intensity and hustle plays helped him become a frequent contributor to the team. And even academically, he flourished, as he made the Dean's List in just his freshman year. While dreams of turning pro may be a bit far for him, he still managed to amass an impressive following on social media, with more than 100,000 followers on Instagram, which could present a new career opportunity that may be opening to him. The era of young players.
Yeah, bro, fuck it. I ain't gonna lie. Start a basketball pod, bro. I'm telling you right now, even though he never made the league, the amount of people that can say that they played basketball at his level is still not a lot of people. And, you know, as much as I'm good at what I do, in terms of thinking of titles, thumbnails, ideas, and talking about basketball to a certain degree, dog, like, credibility does go a long way when it comes to this shit. You know, people will take you more seriously because you have a certain level of credibility. Yeah, man. Yo, player's choice. Hit him up type shit.
Mixtapes has brought us to a point where kids as young as 10 can reach worldwide fame thanks to a good few performances in middle school games.
Julian Newman.
Julian Newman is no different. He would find himself under the spotlight of numerous media outlets because he was one of the best young guys in the world at the moment. He would start making a reputation while playing for Downey Christian Middle School in Florida. He would dominate the competition there, even dropping 91 points in a single game. And so, as just a 4'5", 11-year-old kid, Julian would find himself playing for his school's varsity team, and he would do pretty okay for himself, averaging a solid 12 points, 11 assists, double-double throughout his first few appearances. The following season was no different. He would up his production to 17 points per game. The ease with which he dominated varsity competition, despite being a 12-year-old kid, quickly turned him into a child star, and he was everywhere. It started with YouTube videos of him getting millions of views,
19 million?
turned into every news outlet reporting on him, before finally ending up with him getting invited.
Nah, this video has to have Jay Sean Augusto in it. I feel like it's a fail of a video if Jay Sean Augusto is not in it, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
Invited to every big talk show in America, from Steve Harvey to Ellen DeGeneres, Julian was everywhere, with some labeling him as the most marketed 12-year-old kid on the entire planet. He would continue his meteoric rise even in high school, with big performance after big performance.
Yo,
as a sophomore, he averaged a
hold on. This dude apparently actually ended up being like a college pro. Or like, not a college pro, but like, he either played college or went all the way up to pro.
Big performance. As a sophomore, he averaged a crazy 35 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals per game. He would play his senior year with Prodigy Prep, a school created by his father, where Julian would wait to see what college offers he would get. Unfortunately for him, he would not get any significant one. The thing with Julian is that he was 4'5".
This dude just sat on my desk, dude. Oh shit. Alright. Alright, I'm not gonna do that. But you alright? You wanna sit on the desk, buddy? Paw. He's scared. Yeah.
As an 11-year-old, people still bet that he would grow, but unfortunately, he would reach his maximum height at just 5'7". That, combined with the fact that he had some pretty glaring attitude issues, made colleges avoid recruiting him to their programs. This would result in him having to completely turn his life around and shift away from the idea of playing pro basketball. He would focus on developing his Prodigy brand, all while being a social media star with nearly 700,000.
He's doing the right thing though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, at some point, if you're one of these child hoop stars, be realistic with your hoop dreams. And also leverage what you've built so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, Julian Newman has 600,000 followers. What you could do with that is crazy. And look, I mean, if you look at his bio, it looks like he's maximized it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a Fashion Nova ambassador. He's an athlete for Boost Mobile. You know, Ethica ambassador. I've seen him on a couple of, like, House of Highlights videos and streams, too. So, you know, he's really taking advantage of it. At some point, bro, hey, this is what you got. Work with what you got. Pause.
Followers on Instagram. This would give him the status to play in star scrimmages like the Creator League, where he would actually find quite a bit of success. Overall, he was a child basketball star that reached his peak way too early in his life. But that actually may have been for the best. The family was able to capitalize off his newfound success with TV shows, merch, everything you could think of. And they're all doing pretty well off with the business that they've created.
Man.
Maybe some of the other viral stars that we talk about later on in this video should have followed the path of maximizing off of their newfound stardom. Back in the day, there was no bigger YouTube channel than Hoops Mixtape. With more than
Baller's
300 million total views.
Were they bigger than Baller's Life? I felt like Baller's Life was bigger. But...
with a bit less than 400 videos. It was by far the leader when it came to posting hoop mixtapes. And within all of those videos, there was one guy that was so impressive that his video became the most watched video on that channel with over 16 million views.
7th Woods? Hey!
And so, at just 14 years old, 7th Woods became an overnight sensation and a household name for his incredible performances on the court.
No.
The rest of his high school time at Hammond School would be no different, as he would continue to shine game after game.
Are you going to Atlanta anytime soon? I might go in January. Don't lock that in, but I might go in January.
Ending his sophomore season with averages of 20 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals per game. This was enough to win him the South Carolina Boys Basketball Player of the Year and earn him a selection into the under-16 U.S. national team. With them, he would go on to win the gold medal in the 2013 FIBA American Under-16 tournament, which also featured some future NBA players like Jamal Murray. The rest of his time in high school would just be spent between invitational camps and AAU games, with him ending up as a top 15 guard in the country by the time he graduated. This would earn him offers from multiple schools, notably North and South Carolina University. He would choose North Carolina, with whom he would actually have quite a good freshman season, as he played a record-tying 40 games in it. Unfortunately, his basketball trajectory would be completely derailed in his sophomore.
Those hops weren't hopping like they were in high school. Y'all see that dunk chat? Did he have some sort of injury?
Carolina University. He would choose North Carolina, with whom he would actually have quite a good.
Look at this dunk. Like it was good. Obviously, I can't fucking do that shit. But like, when your claim to fame is uber athleticism.
He played a record-tying 40 games in it.
You know what I'm
Unfortunately, his basketball trajectory would be completely derailed in his sophomore season, as he suffered a foot stress.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, there you fucking go.
Fracture that sidelined him for most of the season. Upon returning, he would not be his former self, so he would find himself behind future NBA player Kobe White on the guard rotation. The thing with Woods is that his story shows us the unfortunate side of when success comes at a young age. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, he would finally share how the mental stress got to him over the years, and actually how hard it was for him to be under the spotlight. Just imagine this. You're a 14-year-old kid who finds himself becoming a national basketball star. You know that every single one of your plays is going to be scrutinized by analysts.
Being benched by Kobe White is... Yo, not too much on Kobe White. Kobe White, he was like that in college from what I remember.
All over the country. At that point, playing basketball can become more of a chore than anything else.
And they want to...
As you're just doing your best to avoid disappointing people. And that is exactly what happened with Woods. As his level was steadily declining, he would first go closer to home by attending the University of South Carolina before choosing to
Yo, Automod didn't let that that chat go through because of specifically the part of the chat that says white is disgusting. Now that's a crazy Automod. Yo, Automod is going crazy. Like I'm looking at it right now. It said approve or deny. Devilman Rome says being benched by Kobe White is disgusting. And then it highlighted white is disgusting. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Transferred to Morgan State for his final year to get as far away from the fame as he could. This would greatly help him recover mentally and eventually lead him to go play abroad, as he just signed a contract with the UGC Demons to go play in the Irish League. We can only hope that he will be able to get back to where he was and achieve a long career as a pro basketball player, even if it's not with the NBA. One type of player that NBA teams absolutely love is super tall guys with raw skills. So when
I just think of MJ2K's videos when I see this dude, dog. Because he has a video on him that has like 8 million views. And whenever I study his channel, like his name just pops up every time.
Basketball world started getting wind of a 7'7" guy playing the sport, you better believe that every single scout had their eyes on him.
I'm pretty sure he played with LaMelo too.
Robert Bobrovsky is just that. At just 12 years old, he had already surpassed the 7'2" mark and was getting offers from all over Europe. The Romanian would end up choosing to play in Italy for Stella Azzurra, where he would start working on his fundamentals and dominate everyone in his age category with his height. 2 years later, he would come back.
He looks so uncoordinated, but clearly he isn't. Like, this is such a weird build.
Back to the US to play actual good competition and get his body ready for the physicality of the American style of play. There, he would attend Spire Institute, next to the likes of
goofy ass run.
LaMelo Ball.
The motherfucker said.
Thing is though, he would quickly become a phantom member of the roster, as he never participated in any game. Contrary to guys like Taco Fall, Robert's body just couldn't withstand playing games. He was so thin coming to the USA that the coaching staff's priority was just to bulk him up. Unfortunately, some things can't be changed, and his naturally lanky body just couldn't get enough muscle on to truly compete. Not only that, but he
let alone the skill work and all that other shit. Like if we're spending all this time just trying to get you like nourished, it's not worth it, dog.
Kept having a series of back injuries that would ultimately culminate in a scoliosis that would...
Yeah, he doesn't look comfortable. Like, something is wrong. Like, he looks stiff as fuck. Like, he looks like if he went to the chiropractor, he'd have a good time. You know what I'm saying? But, nah.
Greatly limit his movement. Luckily, his academic success in college and his great ability to learn languages have helped build himself new career opportunities away from the court. Did you ever wonder if a grade schooler could become a basketball star?
Yes, sir!
Well, no need to ask, because up next, we have a player who became a total sensation at just 10 years old.
video, man.
Jayshawn Augusta.
His
dad
video.
published a video that showed his son's skills and training regime, and it quickly became a viral video, getting national coverage and even appearing on the news. He was quickly labeled to be the best 11-year-old player ever. Not only that, but his dedication at such a young age for the sport made a lot of people want to root for the young guy. After all, he was training more than 4 hours a day for 7 days a week, honing and bettering his craft.
Now, when I saw this part of the video, now mind you, now it's kind of like, it's simple as fuck, but mind you, when I was watching this, I was also 8 years old myself, 9 years old myself. I'm like, no way he's dribbling 2 balls at the same time and he's 10? This dude is the chosen one. What the fuck?
Everyone saw him in the true Mamba mentality. Oh, and we can't forget about his innate athleticism and physical ability, as his speed and endurance were something that had not been seen before in the world of sport, with multiple veteran coaches predicting that he could win multiple gold medals in the Olympics. He would continue shining as a middle schooler, even making it to a varsity team despite being so young. As a high schooler though, he would finally get the growth spurt that he so desperately needed, getting to a respectable 5'11" and would continue building his legacy. He would end up winning 2 back-to-back state championships and would ultimately end up as a 4-star recruit. He would get quite a few college offers, but would end up going to Long Island Uni. With the Sharks, he would start settling down into a more basic role and end up averaging just over 11 points per game. He tried his chance by declaring for the 2020 draft, but a combination of his small size, as well as him not having shown any particular flash of genius in college, would make him go undrafted. Still, he wouldn't abandon the sport, as he is now a basketball trainer helping people who are in the same situation as him make it to the big league. And last but not least, we have someone that took over the internet and may be more popular than any of the other guys in this video. But I think you guys already know who he is.
Big Z? Big Z?
The only guy in the video to not fall off and actually make the league, even going number 1 in 2019. But not all number 1 picks end up being as great as we think. And there's one guy in the 2010s that may have had a bigger falling off than some of the people in this video. I know, sounds crazy, right? Well, this video showing on your screen right here may make you think elsewise.
Oh no, this guy's actually good, man. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to this dude, man. Shout out to Lockdown K. I'm gonna throw a sub right now. Here's his fucking channel. This guy got potential.
Y'all don't give this.
Look at this.
Bye.